Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. In this video, we are going to do another Build It or Bench It episode. This is episode 2, in which we cover the Valiant Earth heroes. The heroes we are going to cover are going to be Alice, Ashlyn, and Kristine. The first hero I'm going to cover is going to be Alice, and I think Alice is one of the better EV heroes in the game right now. She was pretty underrated, and I think she still is underrated because people don't necessarily know how to use her. So her main ability is her shielding. So she applies shield to herself and allies in the same route. Now, how do you utilize this? So Audrey will share the shields she will receive to all other allies. And where do you particularly use this? It's mainly in the Foggy 1 and Foggy 2 of the season. Foggy 1 and Foggy 2 of the season buff the shields received by 10%. Now this is quite massive and it actually makes Alice usable. Not as much in the endgame team accounts, but if you're someone who's free to play and been playing a long time, you can absolutely still use Alice. The team you would run would be Alice, Audrey, Hades, Wuzetian, and Pandora, I think. That's the most common team I have seen. And then you basically have survival and damage. Alice on top of that actually does quite decent chunk of damage. She's not that bad as damage dealer, but she won't be there for damage. You definitely want to give her her legendary runes. It increases her shields by 200%, and this is not a small number, so you definitely want to get her exclusive runes at some point. You will follow the priority list for this, but yeah, just keep in mind that her exclusive runes are actually quite good. Another place where you can use Alice is the Verdian's Lost City. So she serves as a great hero in the survival trial. Not as much in the damage trial, but actually quite decent in the survival trial. So you will run her, Twins, and Lee. This way you will have Monarchs, and this way you will have Shielding. But yeah, that's about it. So Alice, quite good hero and quite underrated in my opinion. I wish a lot of more people would realize she's actually quite good. You can actually run her in the Rift Odyssey as well because she provides decent amount of survival and might replace Elmer in some scenarios, but yeah, that's a bit tricky to do. So she's still great nonetheless and a pretty good hero that I would recommend building. She's definitely not for the bench. She's very useful even until you reach the stage of a very stacked account. The thing about her slacking state, it can actually help you survive in the Rift Odyssey, but I'm not sure how it works as I haven't fully used her as I do not have the needs to, but in my opinion she's one of the better EVE heroes and you shouldn't be sleeping on her. Like, she's definitely not the top priority to pick, but she's definitely someone to keep in back of your mind to work towards later. There's still heroes like Halissa, Lancelot, Doris, Mavis, and Navi that you want to work before her, but she's literally behind them. Like, maybe Lee is there somewhere along with her. I think she needs only 8 stars, but I don't recall as I have her pretty much maxed already, so I'm pretty sure she works at 8 stars, so she's quite cheap as well. Apart from the legendary runes, I do not have them, but I will definitely be getting them very soon. So that's about it for the Alice. Next up is Ashlyn, the most famous hero in the game, because she's absolutely trash. But no, let's talk about her seriously. So, her skill is actually quite decent in the early game. People tend to use Ashlyn because healing is quite important for survival in the early game, and she is one of the better early game synergies, which is Valiant Earth. She fills the role nicely for the early game, but she pretty much falls off the same way that Thamis does. After like 10 days, you won't use her anymore. Her second skill also a heal, which doesn't matter much in the later stages. But yeah, her attack boost actually impacts the fights early game, so that's why she's quite good early game hero, but really don't get attached at all, nor do it's just picking her from any of the cards. Like, if you natural her from summons, okay, great, use her up until she becomes useless pretty much. The only interesting thing about Ashlyn is actually her runes. So when Ashlyn takes action, purifies 15 stacks of debuffs from all allies. Now I can see this being useful because the purifying debuffs is always a good thing. There's so many debuffs that you want to be gone, but she's just a weak hero, and the issue is she's too slow. Like, she will never take action before the debuff does its own thing. If she had better speed or skin, maybe, but even then I hardly see it. So she's definitely a hero for the bench, a good hero for the first 10 days, but after that she's you don't ever want to touch her, basically. Kristine is a Valianter, and she was released as a magic damage dealing hero. And the Valianter heroes really want to be physical damage dealing heroes. So they changed this, but it was a bit too late. So after her season ended, basically, or 2 seasons even, the change was very late done, and the glorious days of Kristine were gone. No, but she wasn't really used at all never, basically. Her runes are really, really cool, but they're just a weaker version of Halisa's runes. Like, they should buff this to 500%, and then maybe she would actually see some play. Although Monarchs greatly benefit from the HP that Halisa gives, maybe this should be like 500% attack or something. Not really max HP for strikers. Like, so yeah, 42 dispel is quite good, but I find her runes interesting, and I really like them. I just wish they would pump the numbers up, maybe make it 1000% so she can see some play. But yeah, apart from that, she has a unique skill, which is when an ally applies stun, Kristine will use her ultimate skill to pursue the target affected by stun, dealing damage equal to 75% of the attack. Now, these numbers are really, really low because she's a very old hero, and I think this was meant to be used with Nyx, as Nyx can stun after not triggering her PvP damage ult, I think, since I have read Nyx skills. But yeah, I think this was meant to be pairing her with Nyx, as Nyx has the stun on her kid and she's a Valianter. And I think this still has some potential, in my opinion. Like, I'm not going to disown this. I think Kristine might see some light of the day someday. Not these days, but someday. When Kristine is deployed, basic attack of Valianter synergy mates have 5% chance to apply stun. This has to be 50% or it's not good. Like, literally make it 50% and she might actually be viable. But yeah, she's not a hero you want to bench, definitely not. She's a hero you want to have, in my opinion. But you don't want to focus her at all. You want to natural her copies and just keep her in the back of your mind as a hero that someday might have some potential. I'm going to maybe try to pursue devs to try and buff this, actually make it 50%. Or like 25%, I'm not sure. 50% should be enough, in my opinion, and the HP buff, and I think Kristine might be back, so. And definitely a hero that might have some potential in the future. Honestly, since it's not much that these heroes can be talked about, I'm going to try and cover Alon as well in this video. So Alon is actually one of the more interesting heroes. Alon is one of the better early game heroes, and I think she can be used up until mid game in some. I was running her recently in my tombs because of the mark and because of the onslaught effect. So she increases the physical damage boost by 50%, and this is quite a big boost, in my opinion. So she was in my 5 teams, even at this late stage in Tombs, for quite some time, actually. Even her legendary runes are quite good, because she applies 1 stack of Curse to 3 random enemy targets, and Curse basically reduces their attack by 40% for 2 rounds. And this is quite good skill, in my opinion, although you will never get her legendary runes, that's just the nature of the game. So Alon is quite good early game, and it's okay in the mid game. Like, you might run her in the 9th World Arena team if you make it there, for example. Like, she's not exceptionally something that you will run, but she's not a hero you want benched either, in my opinion. Like, you want her bench in the late game, but you don't want her bench in the early to mid game. She's quite niche, and she's usable. You will never use her in any PvE other than missions and Palace of Penrose, occasionally some Forgotten Lands, and maybe very, very early Argadina trial in the Celestial Trials, but that's really about it. In some tombs as well, and perhaps in Rift Odyssey if you truly have nothing better, but I do not see it, honestly. You will have something better, definitely. The Omniheroes has been quite generous recently with its events and with the newbie prizes, so yeah, you will definitely have something better. Alon is a bit outclassed, but I'm just saying, just keep in mind, Onslaught effect is quite good, and her legendary runes maybe someday, but I highly doubt it, so forget it, basically. Her mark is also amazing. Marked enemies are attacked first. So yeah, pretty much Alon, build her early game, bench her like mid game, I would say. You will definitely feel when her impact falls off, so I'm not worried about that. So let's recap. Alice, amazing hero, never bench it. Kristine, pocket hero, I would say. A hero with a potential. Ashlyn, one of the worst heroes in the game, only useful in the early game for the first 10 days. Alon, similar to Ashlyn, like only useful for the first, let's say, 30 days, and that's about it. So next up on the list is going to be Anubia, Ali, and Bai Sugjan. I hope I pronounced that right, holy. Bai Sugjan. Okay, so yeah, that's about it for this video. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you have learned something, and hopefully you understand the heroes better. See you in the next video.